Good evening. Welcome to this week's Community Conversations. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be able to be host of this two-part series as we feature the Drug Education and Counselling Services. What is the nature of this organization? What services it offers? Who are the faces behind the Drug Education and Counselling Services? So invite a family member, invite a friend to come and join us in this evening's presentation. May God bless you.
My name is Roger Husbands. I am the Chairman and Director of Drug Education Counselling Services, here located in number 82 Robert Street in Bridgetown. So how my journey began, when I was a young boy, I got myself caught up in drugs and normal bad behavior of children and running away from home and selling drugs and so forth. Sooner or later, my brother pulled me out to school because he realized I wasn't doing anything in school and decided to allow me to go and work with him at his other work site that he was, a company that he's working at. And in going to that company, I had stopped using drugs for a little bit, but then I started back because I had an issue. And I find that all the time when I had some problem, I would run to drugs. And so therefore I started to smoke, again, marijuana and stuff, and even go to work. But this time around now, I ended up carrying away $11,800 in company. And sooner or later, the boss man realized it was me because I did not go back to the workplace. I should have gone back to the workplace and act like if I steal the money, you know. But I ended up staying home high like a kite, can't move. I rented this apartment for a couple of weeks in advance to get rid of the money. I buy clothes, I buy goatee, even went and buy glasses for my mother and some other things I did with the money just to get rid of it. But anyhow, Tutus, they realized it was me. Police came, arrested me, and sooner or later I found myself before the magistrate court. And interesting enough, the magistrate that recently passed away, Magistrate Ben, was the magistrate at that time. And through my mother going to my father, who I never met never met before, she went to him and spoke to him. Apparently, he and Magistrate Ben were friends, and so the honest was to send me to prison for a little bit to teach me a lesson, and then bring me back to then send me to get some help at Teen Challenge Center. Going at Teen Challenge now for me was a really life-changing process. And I learned a lot from them. It was a very rough time, but I started to work with them after I finished my program. I started to work with Teen Challenge for a bit of time, and then they say, you know what? A lot of older fellas coming in here and trying to change, but some of them not changing the way they should, and taking long to change and so forth, and going back to the same mess all the time. Why don't we start from the beginning, from when they get young, before they start using, or while they're in their young age using drugs? Why not stop them then? So I decided to open them Drug Education Counselling Services, which started in 2004. And then from there, we started to work with young people, motivating them, encouraging them, and we receive a lot of good results. And therefore, people started to support us. More government organizations more government agencies started to come on board with us. A lot of schools started to come on board with us, and so the whole public of Barbados knew about us. And so later, that is how we originally how we got to this position, and now Sandy Lane purchased this building that we have in Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, purchased this building that we have here now, Robert Street, which allows us now to no longer move around. Most people know that we were all over Barbados trying to find a space. Sometimes the space is not even adequate enough to handle the children, the amount of children that we had. So then Sandy Lane saw how they came there, they saw that young people were outside still waiting to get in. People couldn't get in the place properly. People were squeezed up, and they said, no, you can't survive like this. So they told me to go and look for a building, and they will purchase it. And we did look for the building. They did purchase it, they renovated it, and everything inside this building was because of Sandy Lane Charitable Trust. And that is how we are here today. Well, this journey was quite interesting from the beginning, because obviously I was not educated enough when I came with the Teen Challenge, and some people felt as though that I should have had the present qualifications. So I had to go back to school, and even though I get the qualifications, I still had opposition being a Christian in such a industry. I remember going to one meeting, and a director of a government agency said, in the meeting, I mean, out loud, not even secretively on the mic where speakers are blasting this thing to other agencies that were there, because there were a lot of social workers, a lot of counseling facilities there. And they had asked me to come and speak. And I went and I spoke about the program of what we do and how we include Christian principles and so forth and so forth. Oh my goodness, she got up there afterwards and she said, listen, she said to people, Christ, no, she said church or Christ, I don't remember, whatever it is, can help the body. This is a psychological issue that needs psychotherapy and da 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 da. And she was saying basically you should not trust the church with this kind of thing. And I was in the back boiling, and all I say is, Lord, give me patience, Lord, give me patience. And even Christians that were there kind of me said, Roger, don't worry about it. Calm yourself down, don't worry about it. And I was down there saying, but she's serious, you know, and you're trying to, although you want to fight for Christ, you still got to make sure you do it right, you know what I mean? And I tried to compose myself. And everywhere I went, people just started to down the program because of it being a Christian-based program, and even they had some stuff about how we forcing people to serve Christ and how we jerking Christ down people's throat, and all kinds of things they started said. I was not allowed in certain atmospheres or certain gatherings because of the Christian persuasion, and they didn't want to hear this Christian talk or whatever the case may be. Sooner or later, we had issues now with the amount of children in buildings. Oh Lord, because we used to, wherever we go, we had large crowds. So the problem is, anytime we go and rent a facility, there was always a mess. People would say the building get mashed up by all these children, the building get dirty with all these children, and the children doing this and children doing that. And that time, the children doing nothing at all, but just because we doing the work. I mean, the people, it was back and forth. I went from so many buildings because landlords keep on complaining about the numbers that we had, and so therefore that caused us to move around. We even had a lot of financial issues. Starting one of these programs is not easy in Barbados because a lot of people don't like to fund programs, and especially funding where you can get a salary or where you can get you can pay your rent, or whether they like to just give money to a program. And so therefore we suffered a lot. Like Sundays I cry, Sundays my car ran out of gas. I remember going to some churches and some places to help young people, or to police station, and my car break down because they ain't got the gas. I know sometimes how my light bill get turned off or the water bill turned off because they ain't had the money to pay them, but they're working hard. I know it is to go all the way in St. Lucie to church to speak to raise and fans and come home with $50 that the gear, or $75 the gear, or a $100 bill the gear, and you got so much to half that got the gas already, you know. And so it was, oh Lord, it was so frustrating. Many things I went to give up. Bishop Seal, Jerry Seal, Bishop Philip Drayton, Bishop Selwyn Braffett, even there Bishop Mark Harewood. All of those guys were there trying to encourage me to hold on. Many times I cried to Bishop Drayton. Remember one time I was like, hey, wait a second, Bishop Drayton, I am done. I can't do this no more. I suffering. I ain't eating properly. I got the money, you know. And all Bishop Drayton said, no, don't give up. You know, you're doing a good work. Don't give up. Somebody can recognize it. Somebody can see it. And maybe a couple months after that conversation, Sandy Lane met us. And Sandy Lane was able to see the value in the work that we do. We hardly were supported by government because government tend to not sway on the side of Christian, and sometimes it was hard getting funding, and then they realized that, you know, the kind of work that we do, so they started to accept us piece by piece. And therefore now we're doing a tremendous work for the government. We're working with the government agencies and probation department at the Nichols, the secondary schools, even the Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Community Service, different things like that, different people we work with now that refer cases to us. But the journey, trust me, listen, the journey was not easy. But I can tell you, starting from rags to riches, but it ain't riches, but we still, you understand me. Yeah, you got riches, you will like, no, but coming from that rag position and just trusting God through everything. I mean, the kind of things I went through, the backbiting, the name calling, the assassination, the character. I had drug lords tell me they're gonna destroy my ministry and destroy what we are doing by scandalizing my name. I've had people who left my church. I had a church that said that you will never be a pastor and scandalize your name, and so you had a lot of different things you had to compete against. Hey, listen, oh Lord, this I can't even stop. I can't even call myself a little bony boy. Cause I'm bony no more. But this little scrawny boy had a lot to go through at that time, and it was rough. And when I realized that I was feeling ill and sick, a lot of people, a lot of times I was thinking that it was stress and the pressures of life. And because running a ministry without money or without the kind of support you want, frustrates you, especially when you're doing something Christian and there are no churches to support you, there are no churches to help you out. And there were churches there, but I mean, the kind of support that you needed to keep it going, Anyhow, so after I got sick recently, last 2 years, and all the stress that I went through, the sleepless nights paid off into sickness. And when I was diagnosed with colon cancer, my blood pressure was skyrocketed high. Matter of fact, many times I went to doctors or nurses, or I went to get nurses that would have been doing a blood pressure check, would continuously tell me, how are you walking around? You should have been dead, right? I can't remember the numbers of the blood pressure, but I can tell you they themselves were shocked. Right now, I'm on blood pressure medication. They had me on the stronger one because the pressure was extremely high. Matter of fact, doctors tell me they don't know how you're surviving. Some days they're walking around and talking to people, or on a stage talking, or in a church talking, and I dizzy, and you can feel your blood pressure high, you can feel the sickness, and you're still pushing through. And so people ask me all the time how I'm still alive, And the reality is that when God has a word in it, it's only He who begins it and He who can end it. So whenever God wanted to end it is when He ended it. He ended up to now, so which means He can still keep me holding on, And so I got sick and had colon cancer, went for surgery. It was one of the most life-changing episodes for me. Lord, I gone through everything. I went through everything. And one thing that I could not understand is why me, they're working so hard for you, Lord. I out there tirelessly late on the night, early mornings, 7 days a week. Some days I got 2 churches in the morning and 2 in the nights. And I got 3 churches in the morning and 2 in the night. Sometimes I got PTA in between there too. You're giving the information, you're trying to help people, you're trying to encourage people to do what is right. Sometimes you're on a gang and men shoot at you. I get shot at many times trying to run away from gang members and trying to help somebody come out of a gang. I've gone through so much, And all I saying, but why this cancer had to be me, why getting punished for, what going on, and so not knowing that the Lord again was using me, I don't know, it might be the Lord's drawing board for everything that is wrong out there in life, for I to have a testimony for somebody, I don't know, but I ended up getting cancer, went for the surgery, nearly died on the operating table, and then they had to quickly get me back on the table again because of the thing in my stomach had popped, and that they had reconnected, so therefore all the waste was going into my system, and having to go through that episode. I remember looking at the anesthetic woman. I said to her, please take care of me. I said to her, please take care of me. 'Cause I was so scared. At that time, I called in Jesus' name. I pray up to now. I just trying to figure out what is going on here, because it's like everybody looked frightened. Everybody looked scared. I look scared. I don't know what to do, And but somehow in my heart, in my spirit, maybe I knew that God would have protected me. But somehow I didn't pray or say anything to God or anything. I was just wondering what was going on. So when I woke up now and realized that I was alive, they placed the bag on my belly uh, until my colon was totally healed. And so I had to go through a period of depression because I didn't want this bag. Having to run a ministry and being sick every single day, being sick, vomiting, losing a lot of weight, and then feeling ill and can't get up sometimes to walk and still go run a ministry. Thank God I had some committed and dedicated staff members to hold the fort. And it was difficult. The journey was difficult, but I never give that. Although I wonder sometimes about what to do, or I ask God why, or sometimes I want to just give up, I still kept on going. Sometimes, the guy's thing was saying you sometimes got to encourage yourself in the Lord. I didn't have a lot of people around me to encourage me. Matter of fact, I drove myself to the surgery. I drove myself back to the surgery. I drove myself to get treatment. And when people were saying, but Roger, you shouldn't be on the road, I drove myself because you really had nobody around that, that would help you. And I had to sometimes encourage myself in Lord. No boy, some people won't call me. Bishop Selwyn Bradford and Bishop Joe Canada come to the hospital to do what they can to encourage me. And I was really grateful for that. But I'll say that I was pretty much on my own. And I had to really encourage myself at home, laying down with this thing on my bed, my belly. And sometimes I get out the bed and it's falling down because I'm weak, ain't got nothing to eat. God sent me some persons who heard the plead on the internet through my testimony. They came and help out with different things like food and what's not. But I would say that most of the time it was by myself through the journey, and I had to continue to pray the Lord and seek the Lord that time. But sometimes, let me tell you something, in the times when there's nobody around, it's the time when you get to know God a lot more better, and you get to see God in different lights. You get to see God in that lonely time. Then the boy getting that advice but God. So in that you got no influence to influence any decision. It's just you and God all by yourself. And I never give that. I kept going. I cry. I ain't gonna tell I cry. I stoops. I talk about things. I scream. I cuss myself a cuss. I don't think a cuss. I don't think that cuss. But everything else I do, and I was ready to go too. I just wanted the Lord to take me. I got it so many times. I said, Lord, take me now, take me now. If you want to take me, you take me. Take me. I just want to get out of this. I hated this thing on my belly. I felt like it was not me. I didn't feel normal. I felt weak and useless, ineffective. I felt like when I'm up to nothing, I felt bad about me. And I just wanted to die. Just the Lord take me. I learned there's so many things that take me. When I wake up in the morning, I say, "Jeez, right, Lord, you can take me." I keep on, it was a depressing time. And that comes along with all these issues. And anyhow, don't let me ramble and all, but I would say that's how the journey was. It was a rough journey. After the surgery and everything I'd gone through, I recently went back to get a test to see if there's any more cancer in the body. And I want to absolutely clearly say to Barbados today and to People's Cathedral, I am cancer free. Praise the Lord, cancer free. No cancer from the top of my head to the sole of my feet. So it's just a matter now of transitioning back to work because at that time when I was sick, I was more working from home than anything else. So transitioning back to work, I had to put a lot of things in place. First of all, I had to stop working so hard. But that was something that I had to retrain myself to do. So leaving here to go home early or not leave home at all and spend a day without going to work was something not normal for me. So having to learn that was the hardest thing because there's so much dynamic things happening at the office, so much exciting things you want to get involved in. You want to start programs, you hear about problems in society you want to address. So it was really hard working the kind of short hours now that I had to do in order to get myself back to where it's supposed to be. So some days I am at work and some days I'm at home. Some days I leave work early, so I no longer do home visits like I used to do before. I no longer do go to police station late on the nights and then kind of things like that. I have stopped a lot of that where I don't do speaking engagements as much as I used to do before because I try to make sure that my stress level comes down and I'm able to take care of myself. Some people will know me from the burnt kitchen as well too, and I have stopped cooking. Yes, y'all should be happy about that. I've stopped cooking for a little while, but I'm about to start back, and I'll be bringing up my first conky in the next couple of weeks. So we'll wait and see how that turns out. But I miss those kind of things that used to relax me, and I want to start back doing those things, but not eating them, but start back those things to see how it goes. But basically it's settled down pretty good. The office, we're moving really good, and the services are going fantastic. Got a group of dedicated, committed administration staff as well as counselors. Oh my lord, the counselors and the teachers are so dedicated and committed to coming and working here, that I could be all the way in China and the organization will still function in most professional manner it has to. So I don't really have to be here. I try my best to come in just to make sure I do the work that I have to do to make sure the organization survives, but I have cable staff that does a fantastic job. So in 2004, in my bedroom, after leaving Teen Challenge, I was at my mother's house. I moved from Teen Challenge and I came home back to live by my mother. And I was in my bedroom and the Lord shared a vision with me for this program called Drug Education Counselling Services. I will never forget it. I didn't have any money to buy nothing. It was flat broke. I had to go back to my mother. My sister moved out to the bedroom that I had to go into, move into my mother's bedroom because I had no money at all. So one day I was in my lane, and the Lord shared this vision with me, and I got a calendar, what we used to call years ago Avanat, right? I got this calendar, so y'all don't know what that word, but anyhow, the calendar, and I wrote on the back everything the Lord told me that this program will be. I shared it with a friend of mine, and we then started to create this idea around what this program could look like. And we were looking for a name, and the Lord said to me, simple, son. Drug education, what you will do, you're going to go there and share about drugs and talk to drugs about people in churches, in schools, in neighborhoods, in communities, about what drugs, the negative effects on drugs and what you should not use. And then counseling services, because you want to offer counseling to help young people and people in the whole that might be affected by substance abuse. And so we started Drug Education Counselling Services. A lot of people were like, that name is catchy, that name is this, that name is that, but I still kept it because I said the Lord told me. Even up to now, people say, Roger, why don't you change that name? But somehow for me, it had that significance that the Lord had given to me, and I felt not to change it, And in 2004, having that, created a board, and then from there we started to decide to go out to do counseling services. So these are the services we provide. So we went out and we started doing drug education. So I would do a presentation in a school and a church, and people felt that the presentation was good because it had my testimony and on that, but it had also PowerPoint presentation and the realistic body of how a drug addict looks and the inside of the body, the health issues. And a lot of people started to call me for speaking engagement because young people were impacted by the information given, and they realized that how serious this drug problem was in Barbados. It got so serious that drug lords themselves call and threaten me on a regular basis. I used to have to change my cell phone on countless times. I remember one time our office, we moved to office in Pine Plantation Road, and we were doing at that time some block work. I got shot at, and they called Ram Richards and Minister, at that time it was Minister Howard, who's now overseas, and I was just telling him, I said, boy, you just get shoot up, boy. And, oh, Lord, and I start freaking out. And they start freaking out, too. And I can't believe my first shooting. I know somebody shooting at me. So I didn't even know what to do. I was nervous. My hand was trembling. There was a hole in when the bullets fly through the van. There was a hole in the van. Oh, my God. Listen, I started to freak out, but I started to feel good. And I said to myself, whoa. If they're shooting at me, if they are against what I'm doing or don't like what I'm doing, it means I'm doing something. Nobody will pelt a rock in an empty mango tree, So I knew that we were then doing something that was positive. So after that, I was home in the Pine Plantation. What I had to do, because I didn't have enough money, I had to sleep at the office. So the office was the office and my house. So I was in there laying down, and the next door neighbor, I hear her screaming. I was there sleeping. She was screaming and screaming and screaming. And it was just thought it was some kind of family issue. So I just lay down. And then she came to the front and she started to knock the door. She said to me, and she wake me up, I went to the door. She said to me, there were a bunch of young people in the back of your, back of the house that's now with cutlasses and guns and all that, trying to break into the house. And when I went to the back of the house, the door was actually like pulled back a little bit that you could actually see through a little bit. And she says when she saw that, she screamed, she hollered, so they all ran off or whatever the case may be. And imagine I was in there sleeping, you know. And I said to myself, whoa. And then I got texts saying, you're lucky that we ain't getting there and all kind of thing. And it was a lot of drug lords trying to infiltrate what I was doing because they wanted to stop me from doing the work that I was doing. And a lot of people didn't understand that kind of impact. I understood it. And what made me felt so bad is because I knew that I was doing something dangerous, and yet people were like, man, you are alarmist. Man, you just talking because you could talk. But then realizing that I was experiencing these serious things that happen in our nation from a personal perspective, I actually go through them. I went through the tracks, I went through the gun shooting, men trying to kill me, okay, because I had information that would change and transform the lives of young people. I can tell you the truth is that after a while, I got so tired of the public's ridicule and the public's assassinations and stuff, I just stopped. And a lot of people see me now, they say, but why we don't hear you no more, we don't see you in the public anymore? Because I just stopped. I just tired. You know, I was just sick and tired of people, you know, endangering my life and people still not, you know, taking it serious. So anyhow, back to what we do here. So when the Lord told me the education, so we provide counseling services here in anger management, substance abuse counseling, grief counseling, gambling. The child can have any amount of issues, the family can have any amount of problems, any crisis, we can provide that services here for you. We have over 15 psychologists, counseling psychologists and psychotherapists, and we got behavioral therapists, we got social workers, we got natural counselors, we got all kinds of people here that assist in the work. And so when we receive the referrals, they're sent off to those counselors. We come once a week for 45 minutes for a session, and that's how pretty much it works. We also decided to start about 5 years ago. We decided to start second chance lessons where you can actually come here and be provided with a skill. And the reason why we did the second chance lesson was to help us to raise needed funds for the program. So what will happen is young people will come from our program, go into those courses free of cost, but we would use adults or young people who come from outside to basically pay the teachers and to help raise the needed funds that was important to help us to survive. So Second Chance started with the CXC subjects, then we got into then electrical and now tiling and cell phone repairs and trial plastic and painting and car servicing, all the car servicing. You could think about body work, servicing the car, you know, electricals, air condition. We got some nails, cosmetology courses. What's got not eyelids, lashes. So we got so much natural here, you name it, so much courses now that we have, and we see probably nearly close to about 300 or so young people here every single week for courses. And I'm excited that the public bar base is using the facility and that we can render that kind of service to the public bar base where young people can come, not only give back to bar base by helping young people through the finances you give, but now you can come and learn a course and go home and make some money from it. So we provide those services here. So not only counseling, but you can come here and get classes and lessons and stuff like that. Second Chance Lessons is basically a program set up to give persons the opportunity to have a second chance at education. One of our concerns when we first started was the fact that there were a lot of young people leaving school without a relevant education, some can't even read and write properly. We decided to design programs that would assist those individuals, such as our remedial classes, especially those persons who needed the added psychoeducation component within their life, and therefore we invited different teachers with skills to help them to assist them with these needs. We then decided to continue to do CXC subjects in all the areas of CXC, as well as skills programs, allowing them the opportunity to be marketable and employable. So Second Chance Lessons was designed to give persons the opportunity to have a second chance at education. And in doing that, we want young people to recognize the importance of education. In our society today, you have to walk the walk, you have to talk the talk. And in order to get a proper job, in order to have a career itself, we want young people to understand the importance of education. And therefore, Second Chance Lessons will design a program specifically for you to assist you in becoming the man or the woman that you want to be, the career individual you want to be, the successful person that you want to be. Our classes are very small, and that is deliberate because we want persons to have the opportunity to learn properly, ask questions, and be able to receive the information that they need. You might say this, well, I'm not an academic, but I might be good at my hands. We have a lot of skills programs that assist you, the individual, from auto mechanics right down to electricals, tiling, you name it. We have it here. We're going to be adding courses continuously. But this is to give you the chance to decide how you want to continue their career. But I want to let you know that Second Chance Lessons also accommodates persons 11 years old right through. So you could be 11, 12, 13, 14, and you have the opportunity to come and learn a trade, learn a skill. And that's what Second Chance is giving you, a second chance at education. Yesterday, we launched a computer course, a computer course in our office directly for teens. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic, where we get youngsters between the age of 15 and 18 years old, anywhere between there, that can come to our office, who know about leave school, ain't got no computer skills, get the opportunity to have a free computer class in Microsoft Word and Excel, where they can actually type letters and those kind of. Talking about fellas that ain't know them with no computer, the fellas that ain't know them with no typing, come and type a letter, do spreadsheet, and all that is sponsored by Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, who again continue to support the program in many ways, see the need to help these young people. So if you're a school leaver, you don't left school, we're going to teach you how to do a letter, how to operate in an office so that you are more employable in society. Also, one of the other nicer things coming up in the next couple of weeks is that we're celebrating 20 years in January. Oh my God, and I feel like 20 years old. So you can imagine how exciting that's going to be. In January, we celebrated 20 years old. I didn't want to go out with a bang. I've already called many places to see if we can get the venues to be used so we can have a wonderful celebration for 20 years. Not sure what's going to happen, but we're going to see how it goes. But I'm excited whether or not we're going to go up on the beach and ramble, or we're going to go in the backyard there and do something. But we're going to have a really great time just to celebrate 20 years of existence. And I want to also thank the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust. I want to also thank the People's Cathedral. Oh my goodness, listen, People's Cathedral have been supporting this program for years. I can't even remember. I mean, I think it was around 2005 or maybe 2006, something like that. People's Cathedral was supporting this program and have not stopped up to now. While other churches have stopped or other people have moved on or whatever, People's Cathedral has stood the test of time and still continue to support our program with a monthly contribution. They're one of the ones that support any program that we do. We give them regular dates. We speak to Bishop Callan on a regular basis as well too, and give information to you guys all the time, because we appreciate the support that the People's Cathedral gives to our program. And there's some other people like First Caribbean International Bank. We have also the Amoria Charitable Trust. I mean, people that come on board just seeing the work full hand and decided that they are going to support the program. One of the other things that we started to do is to try to be self-sufficient, because sometimes having to go and beg all the time or ask all the time can be a burden. So that's why we started the Second Chance program. We started a car washing services. We're looking at doing a barbering salon and using the same young people that we teach in the class to then be employed to do those things. So once we can get those businesses up and running where we can start to collect some funds, we're going to give back to Barbados for sure more than what we have received. And I thank God for the opportunity that we can become self-sufficient and that we can use the funds that we have to help many young people across the nation. We receive our referrals from the juvenile court where we sit on a panel to help the magistrate there deliberate cases. So we will get a youngster or two each Friday we go, and that's how we are able to work with those cases from that court. But other magistrate courts across the nation do send referrals, and they send it through the probation department, where we receive a lot of our cases from. Matter of fact, I think about 56% of our cases come from the probation department. And I want to thank the probation officers, and especially Chief Probation Officer Ms. Agard, for their trust and their continued loyalty to our program. We also receive from the Ida Nichols School. They're about 36% of our referrals, and there Ms. Phillips, the acting principal, our director of the Ida Nichols School. I want to also thank her staff for their trust and their loyalty to our program. We also receive cases that come from the police. A police officer might not want to charge the individual and say, no, you can go and get some counseling, and opposed to me holding you and charging you. So they might refer them and send them here. We also get from the National Council on Substance Abuse, because if they have a lot of cases and they need to refer cases on the outside, they use us as one of those facilities as well. We also receive from the different ministries across the government departments who might also have cases. We also get cases from corporate Barbados. There might be a youngster in the, we've received probably about 4 or 5 of them already, where youngsters actually were found smoking at the workplace or have drug problem being tested and had drug tests. Have been drug tested and found with drug in the system. They send them here for counseling. So we get a diverse amount of cases coming, but the majority of them is from the prison, from the magistrate court, and from probation, and from Ida Nichols. So instead of a youngster go to jail, a magistrate would want to send him to get some help from us or other agencies as well. And I really think that the magistrate system is being set up in a different way. I love how it is now, because young people, instead of going to prison, they have the opportunity to get the help. And that's why we need to applaud our magistrates, and we need to applaud our judicial system now. And the Attorney General is doing a fantastic job with that, because allowing youngsters to get the help is quite important, rather than sticking them in prison, wasting the taxpayers' money for them to come out to do what. So, you know, the reality is having them to come here and get some help. They can get the counseling and also the classes as well too. So that's pretty much how we get referrals. You can also walk in. A parent may have a problem with a child. They may be able to just walk into the facility and also get some help. I forgot also the schools, because there's so much schools that are now referring students here to our facility. And we really appreciate the principals and the guidance counselors who see the value of our program and allow our young people to come here. But we've been so inundated with so much cases that we had to reach out to People's Cathedral again and ask People's Cathedral to help us to train some young people, well, relatively young, but young people, to help us to do anger management counseling, so that those lighter cases that we get, we can send them over to People's Cathedral, or have persons from People's Cathedral come to our office and deal with those more lighter cases. So we did a 12-week training program with some of the members from the People's Cathedral. A fantastic time we had, a fantastic time of learning. Let me tell you, every single day was a laugh. We had a fantastic time. Every day was learning. People were saying they learned this thing, something new. They never thought of this or thought of that. It was something exciting. And they were always eager and dedicated, just like a normal People's Cathedral member. Always eager and excited just to get into the scope of what's happening in our society and seeing how they can benefit and help the society. So we had a wonderful time in then 12 weeks, and I want to thank Bishop Callender for allowing us the opportunity to have that, and obviously Pastor Jeff being the organizer from it, for allowing it to happen and allowing it to exist. So I appreciate that. So we had a wonderful time, looking to use them very soon. We're just gathering the names together now, because we have a long waiting list, and so we're trying to separate them and trying to pull the ones out. So we're going to be calling them very soon and get them involved in the counseling, because it will be definitely an assistance and an aid to help us. Okay, so some of these youngsters come from very rough and bad environments. I can tell you, over my years of working with young people, that this problem is a parental issue. This is a parenting issue. This is a parenting problem. And a lot of youngsters come from parents who can't even support themselves or the children. Very poor backgrounds. Some of them come from abusive backgrounds as well. Parents have been abused by the parents before that, so they want to take it out on the children now. Some of them going through their own issues, their own psychological issues. A lot of parents under stress, and sometimes don't even know how to make the next dollar. Some parents out unemployed, especially now that COVID came in. Some of them lost their jobs. So we get a lot of different young people from different environments coming here now because some of them went robbing, they ain't got enough money. And we take cases like that. So we take cases like guys who with substance abuse problems, but also theft, or they might commit burglary, or might commit robbery, or they might have been caught with drugs, or they might have gone and assaulted somebody. We take assault cases as well too. Those guys who threaten somebody. So you got a lot of anger in the place. There's a spirit of anger across our nation that these young people are tapping into and causing themselves to go and violently attack people and violently stab people and shoot people. I mean, I think honestly for me, if we can just retrain some of these young parents, and I tell you that some of them are young. We got 14-year-olds in here. I got 27-year-old, 20-something, 29, 30-year-old mothers that are still young, grandmothers still out there partying and having boyfriend, and the family unit is now younger than it was before. Everybody now thinking young people's language, still in young people's language, still in young people's music, not taking things serious, not maturing. So a youngster has to live in that kind of environment where granny, auntie, uncle still smoking, still drinking, still partying, granny still partying, and there's no stability, there's no maturity within the home. And then when you got to come and deal with some parents, I've had parents, look, let me tell you that if God wasn't in my life, they would have done, oh Lord, help me, Jesus. They got some parents that if I was the Attorney General, I would charge them and send them to prison. That's the truth. There's some parents that they're giving children drugs. There's some parents that they're beating children. I mean, not like normal licks me you used to get. I talk about beating them, abusing them, sending them off to people so that they can get money. I got parents that tell children, if when your father has sex, I sorry don't die. Then like he climax in the gutter. Telling children all kind of nasty and bad things about themselves. You got parents that's come here sometimes don't even want to come here with the child and say, like, I will left you here with you, left she here with you. Yes, we know the children get in trouble, but the children are only a product of where they come from. And the reality is, if we don't look at, sometimes we got to show parents, if you look in the mirror and look at your child, you'll see yourself. Because sometimes the child behaves just like the mother, and the mother behaves just like the child. And because there is a force between the two of them being like each other, there's a force, and there's always a fight. There's always combating a fight, because they both look like each other, they combat against each other. So at the end of the day, I honestly strongly believe that if we can get the parents in society, especially, and let me tell you something, and sadly enough, a lot of them parents will be Christian or going to church or have gone to church, sure? And should have learned the values. I'm not saying you don't have to be perfect because you go to church, but I'm saying that we need to put something in the church, systems in the church that helps address these issues. And that's why I'm glad that people can teach from other churches. They're looking at the family. How can we get the family unit back together again? How can we solve the problems within some of our homes? How can we get Christians in churches to be more comfortable to say what is happening in their home? How do we get that done so that we can start to address some of these issues that we find within home? If not, a lot of these youngsters can pass through this facility, and they can pass through a lot of facilities, and then they can end up passing through prison, and then hopefully, God forbid, they pass through the cemetery. Because the reality is, if we don't stop it quickly, it can fester in our homes. And I'm going to encourage every parent listening now, don't care who said what, or don't care nothing about no business, nobody know nothing. Head to the bishops, the pastors, tell them that this is what we want to hear about in the church. This is what we want to know about in the church. Help them to set up programs that help meet your needs, because that's what you're coming to church for, to help meet your needs. So, don't only look for money and calling for food all the time or whatever, but you have natural problems in the home that need to be addressed. And therefore, I could encourage you today to talk to the bishop, talk to the pastor, and say, this is what we would like to see, because this is where my need is. And I'm sure that your problem is not the only problem in that church. Trust me that there are many others now going through the same very thing, but nobody is getting up to go and speak about it so that it can be solved. So basically, that's some of the things that I would encourage the listeners today to do, because if we don't stop this problem, listen, I've never seen so many cases as it is now. We right now we're going into the 200s, and we don't go into them kind of numbers like in a month. We don't go into the numbers in 2 months. They must be like, at the end of the year when you do your statistics, that's when you see them numbers are more. But now in this dispensation, this time, we are seeing a lot more younger people than we've ever seen before. And we are seeing adults as well too, who come in from the court. But a lot of those cases are cases that are like relationship issues, but the majority of the cases coming from the court are youngsters using substances, using drugs, getting violent, using drugs, stealing, robbing. Stealing, robbing has become now one of the big things among young people because money is needed in this time, and especially Christmas coming around. Well, we close our office in Christmas time because that's the time you'll be inundated with cases and we need the rest. So we close office in December. But guys, we need to really work on this problem. And the only way we can get it solved is if people start to speak out about it and get some help for it. Well, continue doing this program has been a real encouragement. I love the work that I do. I honestly do. Sometimes when in my lower times or my depressed times or the times when maybe there's no money or you feel like giving up, I always think about some of the cases that we have out there that are persons who are surviving. Right now, one of our boys is painted on one of the walls in an advertisement as one of the big top chefs in Barbados. We've got teachers who come out of our program. We have 2 attorneys that I see sometimes when they go to court. We got news reporters that come out to this program. We have entrepreneurs who come out of this program. Matter of fact, I was eating in a restaurant recently and one of my top boys came out. He said, "Sir, what are you doing here?" He said, "What are you doing here?" He said to me, "I'm the manager." He said, "What?" And I was freaking out because he was there. And this is a boy that gives so much trouble in school. He gives so much trouble in school. And he was there telling the other boys he went through my program and how a program helped him and so forth and so forth. So I'm very happy with the success that I'm seeing. I've seen many of our people out there and they always shout me, they always remember me. But yet sometimes when I go to the prison to do work, I see a few of them as well. And that's the sad part. And they will always shout and they always say, if I do a session with them, they will always tell people that if they had only listened to me and they had only listened to what we had to offer, they would not be there today. But you know what? Sometimes when I sit down and I think about the successes, I'm happy. I'm happy, honestly. And I'm grateful to God that God chose me. Out of everybody else, he chose me. I didn't want to do this work. Matter of fact, I honestly, when I first started, was wondering if I should continue because there was no money. I actually went to apply the police force and they got through. And it was actually in the police force. It was fit. I think they looked good, or the fit, or the strong. And I had the abs and the chest and thing. And I was ready to go to the police force. You just go and run on the beach. And something was just discouraging me not to go. It wasn't the body. It was just my mind keep on telling me, Roger, don't go into that police force. Don't go into police force. I remember the day that and I had to go and do psychological tests. I passed that. I passed the physical. So the woman called me. She said, "Okay, so we're ready now to accept you at the school." And I told her, I said to her, "I ain't ready." She said, "Roger, you sure, man? You did good. You got one of the top marks and passes and whatever." And I said to her, No, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready. She said, "Man, you must be just nervous." I said, "I ain't too sure." But then I felt the Lord was telling me, "Roger, don't go there. Don't go in there." And eventually, I decided to tell her, "No, I'm not going to go in police force no more. I'm going to look at something else." And who told me so? I left a stable job with stable money to go in some place where you're going to be crying and car breaking down. I remember one time I was at St. George Parish Church and the car broke down at St. George Parish Church. Here I rolled down that hill. I rolled that car, and the car used to keep enough noise and leak would rain, used to fall through it. I rolled that car straight down into the gas station down there at the bottom of the Charles Road Bridge. Roll it into that gas station, get there by the tank. And I tell you, woman, the car break down and had the gas, and I give you $2. Woman said, "Lord have mercy, you sure this can help?" I said, "Put that $2 in there, and carry me somewhere and carry me somewhere." She put the $2 in, the car start, praise be to God, and I head off to another speaking engagement. So at the end of the day, although I had stable money, God pulled me out and told me this is right. Sometimes, guys, when God call you out and tell you to do something, right? You might not know your money come from. You get nervous and jittery. Yes, then things can happen. But if God started, he can got you covered. All you got to do is trust the process. Don't worry. The process is never easy. That process never easy here. That process, if you don't cry, if you don't give up, if you don't doubt yourself, if you ain't calling the boy and talk to somebody, then you ain't in the right process. anytime God take you through, He can refine you, He can mold your shape there, you can go through fire, you can go through problems, you can go through issues, but at the end of the day, God can bring you through. If I give up long time ago, guess what would happen? This would not have existed. Many youngsters would not get the help they were supposed to. Might be somebody was stepping, yes. But the reality is I would not have been here. But because I stood the test of time and I said, Lord, this is your work and I'm going to continue to do it, whether with or without. I'm here today. So don't you ever give up, because you don't know what God going to bring you to. And probably you might be already giving up on something that you can probably be a millionaire with or billionaire or change the whole world or do something. But because you give up, you can't achieve that. Don't do it. Don't give up. Matter of fact, get people around you, just like me, who could encourage you and support you through. And once you can get that done, and you can fly over that mountain, fly over it and enjoy the flight, because at the end of the day, God can bring you back to the place that you're supposed to be, where there will be enough, and you'll be glad to say, well, I'm glad I trusted the Lord.
A participant of the anger management training program, which was conducted by the Drug Education Counselling Services. I really enjoyed this experience. It was so beneficial to my life. I really first want to give Almighty God thanks for affording me such a privilege. The duration of this program was from June until September. I recall one of the first things I wrote in my notebook was coping potential. Yes, that there is good hope in coping through this experience. But somehow along the way, the third week, I seem to have been a bit discouraged, I guess from other things which I have been surrounded with, because there was sickness, there were death, there were families being supported, in addition to such a tedious undertaking in studies at this time. However, when I thought about the entire class and the camaraderie we had, and the tutor, of course, Minister Roger Husbands, I was inspired to really leap and be an overcomer. So by June 29th, I was really back on track and ready for this course. This course has impacted my life. I was not aware of the different triggers for anger. And I can tell you today, I have a good handle of triggers that can cause one to be angry. I also have become more aware of the identifiers, either being passive or explosive, or it can be incidental or empathic. These were new learning experiences for me, which I have gained, and that would carry me well into ministry and helping others. And then what I had liked about Mr. Husbands, from day one, he had his housekeeping rules laid down. Our attire had to be at a certain level, as though we are the qualified counselor already. It was all about time management and participation in this program. And the entire class, I must say, we cooperated very well. I was a member of the Spirit of Joy group, and we worked through our group projects really in a harmonious way. We worked together and we encouraged all. The entire class, the camaraderie was really great, and we really did respectfully, listen to other opinions on different matters when there were areas to be discussed. There was that respect in the classroom. And Mr. Roger, he guided us well. When it came to the final, more or less, the exam, I was a bit hesitant because I know how it can be with examinations. However, I prayerfully approached that exam, I think it was early September, and I just allowed the Holy Spirit to guide. And that experience was really great. I was happy for the young man that I attended to on that day. He was the counselee and I was the counselor. And you know, one of the things I learned in the classroom, it's all about the client. Everything centers around that client. So I ensure I put him in a place that he would have been the preferred person in the conversation. And having done that, his response was really great. His participation was so encouraging. And I closed that session knowing that he has great potential. In that session, creativity from God was at use. Definitely, our God is creator. And with him, he brings the thoughts and the ideas to us. I was able to share with him some techniques for his anger, and they were very simple. It was simply like to take a walk. You're on a path. You have persons surrounding you. But you know you are about to maybe go in a wrong direction. Which way do you think you shall go? It could have been left or right. And he answered accordingly. And he was able to overcome. Another exercise I did with him, again, I referred to the beautiful colors that God has given us. And there were 3 colors which were used in this exercise. We all know red means what? Stop. It's a danger zone. And he responded accurately. The other color was green. What green says? It's all right, you can go. Then the 3rd color that was used was blue, which represents peace, the sky, and tranquility. And from just doing this simple exercise with him, his response was so well. At one time, he was moved to tears. I then had to pass him a tissue and give him a moment that he could have composed himself. And as we continued in the conversation, his responses would have been to change his behavior. And brothers and sisters, whoever is viewing this, we all know that the end result of any counseling session is for change behavior. So just from doing that one exercise, I had great hope for our nation. I had great hope for our school children. I had great hope for our family members. I had great hope for our communities. And know that God is at work and he is willing and he will work it out.
All right, so those persons who are interested in helping our program or want to volunteer or want to refer somebody to us, you can give us a call at 435-8148, or we are also in directory. If you type in Drug Education Counselling Services online, you will see us there. You can also visit our new website. It hasn't been ready as much, but you can go there as DECSYEA.org, www.DECSYEA.org, and you can go there, find information as well, and contact information. But we always need support. We always need somebody to come in and help. We got classes now. You might be there as a teacher and you might be willing to give some time to help teach some of these young people. Come on over. You might also have the need to counsel. You might got a qualification there saying for many years and you never used it before. Come on down, we accept you. We need administrators. We need people to help us with fundraising, event planning. Look, we got a big function coming next year. I need somebody to help me with event planning. I'm a little bit good at it, but I need some help with it. Maybe that could be your give back to society. Come on down, come and talk to us. Help us, whatever is necessary out there that you think we might need. We are willing to accept it. We need the help. We need the support. We can't stand on our own. You know what I mean? We need as much support as we could possibly. So if you want to, you can contact Bishop Calendar. You can contact Pastor Jeff. You can contact the administration at your church, your People's Cathedral. They have all of our contact information, and you can come on down and lend us some support. Trust me, helping somebody will change your life, because now you come out of yourself and you go now to help somebody else, and you see a whole total different side of somebody else, and you'll be surprised at what you have. Listen, we've had people come here and say, well, I know what you could do to help. But you won't believe that one little just making a little sandwich changed a boy or girl's life, because they feel as though somebody there to support and to help. So even if you could do sandwiches, you could do cake, you could do drink, whatever you could do, you giving back to somebody makes a difference in somebody life, because they never had it before. So don't think that whatever little you can give is too little. Nah. The little we love, the big we love. Whatever you want to bring, send it down. We can take it, we can use it, we can help these young people down here, and you can see that lives going to be turned around because of what you did. And we thank you for taking some time to consider, even now, of helping us. And we can give you some more information. We can walk you through the process. So don't feel scared. Come on down and help us out. God bless you.
What insightful and inspiring conversation we had this evening with Minister Roger Husbands and our sister Patricia Allen. I can also testify to the fact that as a participant of the anger management training, it has benefited me tremendously in my personal life in dealing with my affairs and so my personal affairs, as well as in my professional life as an assistant pastor here at the People's Cathedral. So there is something at the Drug Education Counselling Services for everyone, and we invite you to consider playing an active role. For us here at the People's Cathedral, it was a natural fit to partner with the Drug Educational and Counseling Service. We believe in the model that Jesus used. He brought down all types of social barriers so that he can meet the needs of others. So we here at the People's Cathedral, yes, we believe in the spiritual word of knowledge from the Holy Spirit and the anointing of the Holy Spirit, but we also believe that there is a place for the science, the methodologies, the ways and means of doing things. Because we don't only cater for Christians, but we also cater for the secular world. And even we here in the body of Christ, we have to be mindful of the fact that we too are in this world with all of this stress and so on. So we need to be able to take care of our emotional needs as well. So it was a pleasure, it's indeed a pleasure to be in partnership with the Drug Educational and Counseling Service. So we invite you to join us again next week as we delve into other aspects of this organization. Who are the counselors, and what are some of the testimonies of some of those who have benefited from being students of the Drug Education and Counseling Services. So until next week, may God bless you tremendously.